You wouldn't believe what happened when a man sacrificed everything for his love, only to be betrayed over a $3,000 bag. This is the shocking truth behind what seemed like a perfect relationship. Let's uncover the devastating reality that shattered his heart in an instant. Before continuing the story, tell me which city you are watching from. I want to know how far this video has come. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so I can send you exciting stories like this every day. I, 27 male, was in a relationship with a woman, I'll call her Sophia, 26 female. We dated for more than 2 years when, one day, I found her making out in a Mercedes-Benz cabriolet. This happened a week ago when I went to an office party. A few drinks later, my colleague and I went outside to get some fresh air, and something caught our attention. A shiny blue Mercedes-Benz cabriolet. It was parked 2 buildings away in front of the hotel. We thought it was just parked and no one was in there, so we casually went towards it to admire its beauty closely. As we moved closer to the car to admire her beauty, we noticed someone was in there. The car was shaking weirdly. Then we realized that a couple was making out inside. My colleague and I stopped there and burst out in laughter that we were about to disturb someone in their private moment. We stood there for a smoke, and next, what I saw gave me chills. A woman came outside of that car, fixing her hair while teasing this man with her, and they both headed inside the hotel while handing over the keys to the valet. That woman was my girlfriend, Sophia, who was making out with the guy in the Benz. My amusement turned into agony. My colleague knew Sophia and was surprised to see her walking inside a hotel hand in hand with a man. I didn't know that guy. I had never seen him. I know I have suddenly jumped into this topic without giving any context. I'm a sales executive in an MNC. Sophia and I were colleagues when I worked as a part-time cashier at a supermarket. Sophia was the store assistant. We became friends, but nothing panned out at the time. I was in college and was too busy to get into a relationship. Sophia also never showed any interest in me. Sophia dropped out of college to support her family. She's been working 2 jobs since the age of 19, and I respect her dedication. A year ago, I bumped into her at the same supermarket where we used to work. She was promoted to floor supervisor by then. We had met after 5 years, and like old friends, we went for a coffee. I asked her if she was dating someone. She said no. She gestured at me as if I was asking her out. I was single and said I didn't mind taking her out. We exchanged numbers, and the following weekend, we went for a drink. Gradually, we started dating, and it's been more than 2 years since we have been together. During our relationship, I used to suggest she complete her college because the absence of one was blocking her career from growing. She said she could not afford a college education since she had to look after her parents. Initially, I sympathized with her because she was sacrificing her career to take care of her family, but eventually I discovered that she was sending only 25% of her income to her parents. Besides her job at the supermarket, which was stable and consistent, she used to struggle for her evening jobs. She hopped from one to another. From being a waitress to a bartender, she tried it all. Since she was working 2 jobs, I suggested she quit one job and join the college, while the salary from one job could take care of her needs and her family's. She kicked against the idea of rejoining the college. She said her income from one job was not enough for her to survive. I respected her choice and did not push her further. The thing is, I wanted her to complete her college and settle for a stable day job. I was looking forward to proposing to her after a few months, and her schedule was the biggest hindrance on me to settle down with her. I loved her and was serious about her. I tried to confront her about my feelings that I wanted to marry and settled down with her within a year. Hence, I wanted her to sort out her career first. She shrugged off by saying that marriage and career are 2 different things. She also wanted to marry me in a year or so, but she liked her hustling career. She said she could not sign up for a monotonous day job. She considered that to be boring. For some reason, her job-hopping stuff brought a thrill to her life. I don't know if that was a red flag or not, but I clearly missed reading that signal. Sophia didn't believe in saving, so she used to spend all her income on her lifestyle. Like any other woman, she had a keen interest in branded clothes, bags, and sandals. For someone who doesn't know Sophia's profession or background, they would assume her to be of a wealthy background because of the way she carried herself. I don't know how people would take it, but I never considered it a problem. Initially, I did try to advise her to save up, but she said she was working so hard Hence, she deserved to own those stuff. Besides, she was using her own money to fulfill her expensive choices. A year ago, she asked me if she could move in with me. She was living with her friend who was moving out to a different city. Sophia could not bear the expenses of the apartment alone, hence asked me if we could stay together. I was happy she was leveling up our relationship because I was also serious about her. I told her she did not need to contribute since I was already bearing the rent and other house bills alone. Instead, she can save up that money for herself. I didn't think about money a lot. Apart from the food expenses, nothing shot up due to her moving in, so I didn't mind bearing it. 6 months ago, I got a promotion at work. It was a very proud moment for me. I had worked really hard for it. To celebrate my achievement, I took Sophia out for a candlelight dinner at a fancy restaurant. She was really happy to enjoy the service at a premium place where she was usually at the other end, service provider or his waitress or bartender. She was so pleased that she kept telling me I was raising her expectations. I wanted to pamper her like any man does for his girlfriend or wife. Little did I know that I was digging my own grave. After that dinner, Sophia started subtly suggesting that I take her out every now and then, which basically meant every weekend. Her demand was not for a regular Subway, McDonald's, or any regular eatery. She suggested a fancier place every weekend. For the past few months, I had to put up with her, thinking that she would soon get over it. While her eating out habit didn't subside, a new habit of hers popped up, and it was for gifts. She started demanding gifts from me. Her request was not for any occasion, but just random, and that too expensive ones. Sometimes it was for a Zara dress, the latest iPhone, and whatnot. It was her birthday last month, and I casually asked her what she needed for her birthday gift. Her wish list almost choked me. It was a Chanel bag of $3,000. I cracked up, taking it to be a joke. But she got offended. She said that I was judging her on her choice. I told her I wasn't judging her at all, but I seriously took it as a joke. $3,000 for a bag is seriously something that I cannot wrap my head around. Instead of acknowledging her unreasonable demand, she justified it. She said that since I got a hefty raise after my promotion, I should be treating her with something fancy. Besides, I have not gifted her anything significant for the last 2 years of dating each other. I was shocked when she said that. I know I didn't gift her anything expensive, but I've been bearing all the household expenses for the last 1 year. Before she moved in, I was bearing all the bills for lunch and dinner whenever we went out. I deliberately didn't let her pay because she was earning less. She didn't fight me over this, but she gaslighted the situation to the extent that it made me feel guilty for not providing her with what she needed. She said that the $3,000 was just a 10-day salary for me. People spend their entire month's salary on their girlfriend. See, I know $3,000 would be a 10-day salary, but I believe spending that much money on a bag is worthless. I know there are a bunch of people out there who go crazy over these over-the-top brands, $50,000 Nike shoes or $10,000 Gucci belts. I'm sorry, but I don't find it worth spending a dime on such short-term clothing items. I told her that if she wanted, I could give her that money and she would get some vocational skills to help her improve on her work. I know I sounded boring, but I couldn't think of anything better to spend $3,000. She rolled her eyes and called me stingy. She was clearly angry with me, but didn't say anything. Her attitude had definitely changed after that. I thought she was just upset because of the bag episode and would get over it. On her birthday eve, I came home early to plan a surprise for her. I took a half day at work to buy flowers, candles, cakes, and a couple of dresses from Zara, which she had been eyeing for some time. I kept waiting for her until midnight. She usually used to return by midnight, but after that fight, she was coming late. I called her to check when she would return, but she didn't answer the call. After an hour or so, she messaged me that her colleagues had planned a surprise party for her birthday, and she would be spending the night there. I was utterly disappointed because I had also planned for the surprise and spent the entire evening preparing for it. However, I couldn't blame her because she didn't know about my plan. But somehow I didn't like that she spent her birthday night with her friends. I mean, she could have invited me to that party, but she didn't. I was so upset and tired that I dozed off on the couch. I woke up in the morning when Sophia arrived drunk from her party. She was happy to see that I had also planned something in the house. She cuddled me and apologized for ditching me all night. I told her that I had taken off on her birthday so that we could enjoy the day together. She didn't really like the plan. She said she had to go to work as she had not taken a leave. I told her to call in sick at work, but she denied it. I really got upset at this because I had planned so much and was excited to spend quality time with her. She ignored my request and went ahead with her schedule of showering, getting dressed up, and leaving for work. I couldn't fight with her because it was her birthday, so I let her be. I hugged her while she was leaving and asked her if she could stay back, but she said she was not in for a boring day on her birthday. I got confused and asked her what she meant. She said that she doesn't want to spend her birthday sitting at home and drinking wine. She is an outgoing person and would like to spend her birthday outside. I suggested that we go out to a resort or for a day trip nearby. Her response was, "My work sounds cooler than your plan." I lost my patience by this and let her go. I was utterly frustrated by her attitude, but let it pass. I took it upon myself that I should have planned something better, knowing that Sophia was an extrovert party person. Instead of just planning something for the two of us, I should have planned for a birthday bash or something. The next few days, I tried to cheer her up by promising that on her next birthday, I would really do something that would delight her. She said her standard of delight is nothing less than a Hawaii trip. I didn't say anything, just curled my lips and smiled. For someone who has never been outside the state to speak of such a standard, it is actually a red flag, and this time I read it. I started noticing her closely and realized that something was definitely off. While all these were going on, coincidentally, last week, I saw her making out in that luxurious car and then entering a 5-star hotel with a man. Seeing them go inside, I just couldn't help but rush inside the hotel to follow them. My colleague stopped me, saying that I would be thrown out of the lobby if I did something shady like this. I have to be careful and alert. My colleague requested that we go back to our office party, but I was not in the mood to go to the party. I just stood in front of the hotel, waiting for them to come out. After a while, my friend insisted that we leave because it could be possible that they were spending the night together and we could not stand there for a whole night. So, he drove me back home. I was so distraught that I was not able to breathe. I packed up all her stuff and dumped it outside the apartment. I don't know when I did sleep. I woke up to a loud, shrieking voice of Sophia asking me about her packed stuff. I told her that she could go back to her rich boyfriend with whom she was screwing around last night. Her response was, "Oh, so you know it." Great, it drove me insane. I yelled at her and asked when all these things were going on. She said that there was no point in being dramatic. She had to hunt for these rich men because I was a miser and could not afford to buy her a Chanel bag. Her eyes were cold and unremorseful. She took her stuff and left. It's so shallow and unbelievable that people can stoop so low just for the sake of money. I don't know what I'm going to do now, but surely I won't let that woman walk all over me. Oh my gosh, her coldness is rather unsettling. OP, I'm so sorry. You deserve better than that. At the same time, giving her attitude towards everything else, it's almost not surprising. She obviously lives way above her means, and you were honestly trying to guide her towards a life that would offer her more security and possibly even a way to pay for the type of lifestyle she wanted. But she's not interested in doing the work. She wants a free ride. Update 1. Hi all, it's been more than 6 months since my original post. I didn't make an update earlier because there was nothing worth updating. I know I closed my last post saying that I would definitely avenge the cheating, but life got the better of me. A few weeks after my breakup, coincidentally, I was sent to Seattle for a month-long project by my company, and that helped a lot. The change in scenery helped me move on quite fast. After a month, when I was back from my work trip, I won't say I had completely forgotten her, but yes, I had moved on a lot. I blocked her from all social media platforms, so there was no way I could see her or know about her. A week ago, Sophia showed up at my house. She looked miserable. I was no longer angry with her, so I let her in. I asked her the reason for the visit. She broke down, apologizing to me. She said she was sorry to ruin our relationship for some short-term gifts. I asked her to move on because I had come ahead from my past. She told me that I was the only person who ever loved her, while everyone else was just using her body. I told her that she could not label others to be users because she got those expensive gifts in return. She said that she didn't need those fancy items, but a permanent partner to settle with because she has been hustling for the last 10 years. I wished her good luck finding her man because I was no longer her man. She pleaded with me to give her another chance. She told me that she was broke and had been living on her friend's couch because she could not afford a place for herself. I told her that she had 2 jobs which should be sufficient to provide her with basic life. She started crying again and said that she never had 2 jobs. She had only one at the supermarket. I was shocked at the revelation because for the 2 years we dated, she told me that she was going out for work. She said that she used to go out with her friends every evening, hit on men at the bar, and make out with them in exchange for gifts and money. I don't want to spell it out, but that's what she meant. I was so shocked that I could barely speak a word. She added that she was about to hit her 30s, hence she was unable to juggle her day job and the night's work. She wants to settle down and lead a normal life. She pleaded with me not to judge her and take her back. She promised that she would prove to be a good wife. I assured her that I wasn't judging her at all, but it was unfair that she kept me in the dark for 2 years. She lied to me and she cheated on me, and I can't forget that. She held my hand and cried that she was broke and needed help. I told her clearly that I could not be back with her and she would leave me alone. Her confession swirled my mind that I was dating someone who was seeing other men every other day, and I was such a fool to love her all those years. I spoke to my friend about this, the one who was with me when I saw Sophia making out in that car, and he suggested that I take an STD test because I was with that one for so many years, while she was screwing around with others. Chances are that I might have gotten infected. I resisted the test because I had no such symptoms, but my friend said that sometimes the symptoms take years to appear, so it's better to be safe. I have booked the test tomorrow, hoping to come out clean. Honestly, yeah, you may have been the only guy to actually love her, and the fact that she lost that is on her. She really messed up. She was far too concerned about materialistic things and instant gratification, but honestly, how much of all of it was just crocodile tears? She just needs someone to buy her things. She'll never stop looking for the easy way. Update 2. Hello people, my STD reports came clean, thank God. Today I was passing by the supermarket where I met Sophia and where she worked. Something inside me urged me to go inside. I went inside and was lurking in the food aisle when one of the tenured employees, who happened to be my colleague when I used to work there, spotted me. He came and spoke to me. He knew that I dated Sophia, so I asked him if she was still working there, as I couldn't spot her. He said that Sophia was fired from the job 3 months ago. I asked him the reason, but he said he didn't know. I told him about my breakup with Sophia. Then he revealed the truth. He said that of late, Sophia was caught on camera trying to make advances towards male customers who looked wealthy. The security was keeping an eye on her for a long time, but since nothing was captured on the camera, they couldn't take any action. She was usually seen leaving the supermarket in their car after the shift, but 3 months back, she was caught making out with a customer in the secluded corner of the store. She was given a warning because she was one of the tenured employees, but a few days later, the same customer turned up at the store and created a huge scene that Sophia had slipped out of money from his wallet when she went to his house for the night. The management had to take action, and this time she was fired. I asked him, since he was working with her for so many years, did he find her shady? He said that he was shocked to know about her truth because she was very normal with her coworkers and friends. No one knew about her dark reality. He said that Sophia's reputation had gotten so bad in their working community that no one wanted to refer her or hire her. She was just using men to fund her lifestyle. I'm sharing this here so that others can be careful about the person they are dating. I feel lucky that it was just for 2 years. When she came back, I didn't know how to react. Seeing her standing at my door with red eyes, looking scared, all I felt was emptiness. By then, I wasn't angry anymore, just disappointed. How could I believe her words after everything that had happened? She apologized over and over, but I didn't know what to do with those words anymore. Her words no longer held any value to me, and no matter how many apologies she gave, I just didn't know how to respond anymore. A part of me still felt sorry for her, but I realized she wasn't here because she loved me. She was here because she had nothing left. She had deceived me all this time, and I couldn't overlook that. I had loved her with everything I had given her the best I could, but now I only felt like a fool who had given my love to someone unworthy. I asked myself if I was being too harsh by not giving her a second chance. She stood there, head down, admitting her mistakes, and perhaps I could accept her apology. But then I realized something. Betrayal is enough. She didn't just hurt my feelings, she hurt my trust. Trust is something that is hard to rebuild once it has been broken. Everything I had placed my trust in, she destroyed with a moment of weakness and selfishness. Betrayal is something that goes beyond just hurt feelings. It's a violation of trust, and trust is something that is hard to rebuild once it has been broken. Everything she did had its reasons, but I couldn't rationalize her actions. She convinced me with reasons that seemed reasonable at the time, but I soon realized that those were just excuses, just words to justify actions that could never be forgiven. I still remember when we first started this relationship, everything was good. She made me believe I was the most important person in her life. She always said she loved me, that she wanted a future with me. But now all of that was just empty words, promises she couldn't keep. I didn't know how I could believe her anymore. How could I continue my life with someone who had betrayed me? Someone who had made me feel like I was just an option, a tool to satisfy her needs. I looked at her, not feeling anger, but not feeling love either. Just emptiness, a sense of loss. I realized that love cannot continue without trust. And when trust is broken, I don't know how to rebuild it. She was no longer the person I once loved. She had changed, and so had I. There were many times I asked myself if I was being too harsh, if I should give her a second chance. But in the end, I understood that the betrayal was too great. Trust cannot be rebuilt with just words of apology. She had hurt me too deeply, and I couldn't just forget everything because of a few apologies. Sometimes we need to learn to let go of things that are no longer worth holding on to. And that's what I had to do. Because if I continued to endure, I would only hurt myself further. I tried to remain calm as she explained why she did what she did. She told me that her life had always been difficult, and she never felt like she could get what she truly wanted. She wanted an easier life, not working hard all the time. I listened to her words, but in my head, there was one question that kept echoing. Why did you choose to deceive me to get those things? I looked at her, trying to keep my emotions in check, but inside I couldn't make sense of it. How could she choose this path of dishonesty instead of working harder, or even changing herself to achieve the things she wanted? Life can be challenging, but that doesn't mean one should resort to deceiving others to get what they want. I couldn't accept that. I told her that life isn't always easy, and no one can live a life without facing difficulties. If you want to change your life, there are many ways to do so without deceiving or using others. She looked at me, her eyes full of disappointment, and I could feel that she wanted me to understand that I couldn't know what her life was like, that I would never understand the pressure she felt without money, how everything seemed impossible without it. She told me that I couldn't understand her feelings, and that I would never know what it was like to live in a world where everything had to be bought with money, that without money you couldn't have anything. I looked at her, and inside I felt no sympathy. I couldn't accept that reason. I couldn't accept her using her own lack of resources to justify her deceit. Life isn't about running after material things, and certainly it's not a competition where people trample on each other to reach the top. I couldn't answer her with words because, honestly, I didn't know what to say. The only feeling I had was disappointment. A part of me wanted to tell her that I understood, that I could sympathize with her struggles, but another part of me told me that I couldn't forgive this betrayal. I couldn't simply overlook everything she had done, no matter how much she explained. My trust in her had been broken too deeply to heal with just a few apologies or reasons. Finally, all I could say was one sentence: I can't continue with this. That statement felt like a slap in the face to both of us, and it marked the end of everything. I couldn't go on with someone I no longer trusted. I couldn't keep living in a relationship where I always felt deceived, always felt like a pawn in her game. I didn't want to live like that. I deserve better, and I deserve someone who truly loved me, not someone who saw me as a tool to get what she wanted. The days after that, I slowly found peace. First, I started focusing on myself, doing things I enjoyed. I threw myself into work, taking every opportunity to grow. And I realized something: I had forgotten about myself for so long because of someone else. There were times when I missed her, missed the good moments we shared. But then I asked myself, Were those moments really worth everything I had gone through? And I found my answer. I deserve a life where I don't have to worry about being betrayed again. Every day I felt stronger, and things started to get easier. I began to see the value of independence and self-worth. One afternoon, I was walking through the neighborhood where we first met. I didn't expect to see her there. She looked at me with worried eyes, as if she wanted to say something. I stopped, unsure of what to say. Eventually, she spoke up, saying she had changed. To be honest, I wasn't angry anymore. The only thing I felt at that moment was calm. She told me she was truly sorry for ruining everything over some short-term gifts. But I simply smiled. I had moved on, and I wasn't looking back. She pleaded with me to give her another chance, but I knew it was too late. I had already found peace without her, and I wasn't going to go back to the past. As she walked away, I stood there and watched. I didn't feel regret, just a sense of relief that washed over me. In that moment, I realized that whether she came back or not, my life would continue. I couldn't keep living in the past, and I couldn't let that betrayal continue to affect me. She was leaving, but I was still here, and I had the chance to start over. This time, I wouldn't repeat the mistakes of the past. I realized that sometimes we face challenges in life to learn important lessons. She had taught me a lesson that I would never forget. It was the lesson of never allowing someone to hurt me, never letting anyone violate my trust. If I hadn't learned this lesson, I would have continued living in a relationship filled with lies and hurt. But now I understood that every decision I made would lead me toward a better future, and I wouldn't let what had happened pull me down any longer. As she walked away, I didn't feel sadness or regret, just a sense of calm. I had let everything go and no longer felt anxious or afraid about what had happened. I began to focus more on myself, on my career, and on the things I truly enjoyed. I realized that in life, the most important thing is not to forget about myself. In order to love others, I must first love myself. I started dedicating more time to my work. I learned new skills, sought opportunities to develop myself, and aimed for progress in my career. I knew that once I focused on my own goals, I would achieve what I wanted without relying on anyone else. Every decision, every step I took in my career now came from the desire to make my life better, and I felt ready to face any challenge that came my way. Beyond work, I also started opening up more to meet new people, to make new friends, and to explore new relationships. I knew that in the future I would find someone who truly understood me, loved me for who I am, not for what I could provide. I didn't need to live for anyone else but myself. That realization gave me a sense of freedom, the freedom to live for myself and not to carry the responsibility of others. I realized that true freedom and happiness don't come from pleasing others, but from living authentically with myself. And that was the most important lesson I learned from everything that had happened. I couldn't live someone else's life. I couldn't let the expectations of others dictate how I lived. I could only live my own life in the way I wanted, with the values I set for myself. And as I looked back, I felt grateful for what had happened. Although it was painful, it had helped me grow stronger, wiser, and most importantly, realize my own worth. These experiences would stay with me for the rest of my life, and I would never let them diminish my confidence or trust in myself. I had learned that there is nothing more valuable than freedom and peace of mind, and I would never trade that for anything. We all know that in life, love is not only about sacrifice, but also about respect and trust. When these values are broken, the wounds we carry will be the most valuable lessons we ever learn. The story of this man, though filled with tears and heartbreak, shows us that the truth will always come out at an unexpected moment. What matters is not how to salvage a fractured relationship, but having the courage to walk away when we realize we don't deserve that kind of pain. Sophia's actions prove that greed is never enough, and when materialism takes over love, we lose the core values that make us human. However, in the end, this man found freedom and happiness through his determination. He learned that sometimes the best thing you can do is reflect on yourself and step away from unhealthy relationships. Thank you for joining us in this emotional journey. If you found this story to be a valuable lesson, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel so you won't miss our upcoming videos. Share this story with your friends and family so they too can understand that love cannot be built on deception and greed. Subscribe today and stay with us as we continue to explore more deep, intriguing, in meaningful stories in life. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.